Hey everybody, Ed Homewood. I hope everyone's doing well today. Welcome back to the channel. I promise you're going to enjoy this video. This is the coolest little product. We're going to talk about the Nobsound NS-02G PRO. It's a little single-ended, solid-state, full Class A integrated amplifier. So please, sit back, relax, and we'll get going on this video. So what is the Nobsound NS-02G PRO? As I mentioned, it is a single-ended, solid-state, Class A integrated amplifier, and here's the trick. It only sells for $370, and I promise you, this thing is extraordinarily well built. I'll put some specifications up here. As you can see, 30 watts by 2 into 8 ohms, but specs aren't the whole story with this, not even a little bit. This is really a remarkable piece. So who is Nobsound? Nobsound, you'll find Nobsound products on the Duke Audio website. I think it's duke.com or dukeaudio.com. And under that Duke umbrella, there's Nobsound, there's Duke, there's Papa, and there's another one, One Little Bear. And they're Chinese companies, obviously, and really what they do is they occupy the affordable hi-fi space. I've reviewed a lot of Duke Audio product. I've reviewed some other Nobsound product. I've reviewed the Papa product, and I've been impressed with all of them. They do a really, really good job. And I think the important thing here is what they're focused on is producing just a really good sounding, very simple little product without any question. I really believe this little tiny amplifier punches above its price point. Your first impression of it, my first impression of it was it stands apart by doing less, but I think it does it better. Again, this is a single-ended Class A solid-state amplifier built around a very minimalist philosophy. There's no unnecessary features. You'll see when we look at the front and the back and inside. There's no complex signal routing, and there's no distractions from its core purpose. Instead, the focus is on short signal paths, simple circuit design, and an attempt to achieve sonic purity. You know, in a crowded market of feature-heavy budget gear, especially Class D, this approach feels deliberate and very refreshing. Well, let's go ahead and take a close-up look at this unit. We're going to take a look at the front, the back. I will open it up and we'll look inside. Well, here we are looking at the front panel of the NS-02G, and I'm going to go ahead and power the unit up, and that's about it. You see a power control and then a volume, and that's all there is to it. It is super simple, but it is really well constructed. This thing is very heavy. It's all CNC machined aluminum casework, just lovely. So anyway, let's do this. Let's spin it around and look at the back. Well, here we are looking at the back of the NS-02G PRO. Very simple. Line level 1 in, line level 2 in. There's your input selector switch. 5-way binding post, really nice quality. IEC power socket and fuse holder, and that's it. Very simple layout. So now let's open it up and look inside. Well, here we are looking at the inside of the NS-02G PRO amplifier, and I'll tell you what, it is impressive. It is all CNC machined aluminum heat sinks. The top panel is a nice solid piece of aluminum as well. You'll see the back panel here, front panel here. It is very well laid out. Here's a surprising thing. There are 2 output devices per channel, so it is a push-pull Class A amplifier. And here's the remarkable thing. There is 80,000 microfarads worth of capacitance in this little amplifier, along with a very large toroidal transformer. I can't find out what the voltage rating is, but this is impressively well built for such a budget-friendly amplifier. And the damn thing weighs like 13, 14 pounds. It's a heavyweight little beast. Anyway, it's impressive. The build quality is quite good. Short signal paths, dual mono design as far as output layout, just really well thought out. I'm very impressed, and sonically it's impressive as well. So let's do this. Let's button it back up and we'll finish up with this review. Well, as you can see, everything about the NS-02G PRO reflects a very clear priority. I think their intention was to invest in sound quality, not in extras. As you saw, there really aren't any. So it's a very clean, straightforward layout, minimal controls, and a nice compact footprint. You could use this on a desktop if you wanted to, or certainly in a small system in a second room, maybe even a primary system if you have some very efficient speakers. One note though, this does produce heat. Most Class A amplifiers do. This is really just an excellent back to basics design, just well built. You know, for me, one of the most striking aspects of this little amplifier is its sonic performance. It does not merely sound good for the price. It delivers a level of refinement that challenges expectations in this category of products. From a tonality and presentation standpoint, it is smooth, slightly warm tonal balance, has excellent listenability over long sessions, and of course that's important to me, and it has a good, strong sense of musical cohesion. The presentation avoids kind of anything overly analytical or sterile. You know, you'll find that characteristic in a lot of budget amplifiers. Instead, it offers a much more natural and much more engaging sound. I'll drop in some illustrations here, some pictures of the waveforms. The advantage of Class A amplifiers is continuous current flow. As you can see, the sine wave is preserved. And a Class AB amplifier, and I'll insert that sine wave right here, you'll notice as the transistors start to enter that zero voltage line, they become nonlinear and they get what's called notch distortion or crossover distortion. And you can see it occurs on both as the transistor is winding down in voltage and as the transistor is winding up in voltage. You'll get a notch right around the zero voltage line. And that crossover distortion is noticeable. Now at high volumes, it becomes less apparent because everything becomes less apparent at high volumes. But when you can have a pure Class A and you're listening at, you know, fairly moderate listening levels, you get, you know, continuous current flow, you get that absence of crossover distortion, and you get a very cohesive and fluid presentation. And this really translates into a very detailed but non-fatiguing sound, very smooth treble response, because that crossover distortion sometimes, most often manifests itself in the upper mid-range and lower treble. And you get much more natural mid-range texture. The result is a presentation that prioritizes musicality, but it doesn't sacrifice any of the clarity. So in my testing, I primarily streamed Artivana from my Artivana server into the Geshelli Torque Deck using the AKM DAC board. And I paired this up with a bunch of different speakers because I really wanted to put it through its paces. And you know what? This thing demonstrated excellent versatility across that wide range of speakers. So in the floor standing category, I did pair them with the Fine F502S. Now that's a relatively efficient speaker at 91 dB, nice easy 8 ohm load. And I'll tell you what, the presentation, as long as you weren't getting too loud with it, the presentation was dynamic and engaging and very, very listenable. I did plug the Spender 7.2s into it, and that was a much more refined mid-range and a very smooth delivery. And then I did with my big Wharfies, the Wharfedale Diamond 12.4s. That was really full-bodied and very musical. You know, this amplifier retained its composure even with these larger speakers, obviously at reasonable listening levels. Well, I also paired this with some stand mount / bookshelf speakers. The first pairing was the Q Acoustics 3030Cs, and that was a very good pairing. It was very energetic, but very balanced. I did pair it with the very budget-friendly Cambridge Audio SX60. That was an easy pairing, and it was very pleasing tonally. Philharmonic True Mini monitors, good strong detail, really good clarity. That was a great pairing. I did pair it with the acoustic quality Labrador 39s. That's a beautiful Czech-built speaker, and that was very smooth, very cohesive presentation. And I did also just recently got in, so I didn't listen to them for very long, with the Fine Audio, I think the E5S, a little bookshelf speaker, single driver, really cool little bookshelf speaker. You'll see that in some future reviews, and that was a very good combination. The first impressions were very positive. You know, this category of speaker represents, I think, this amplifier's ideal use case. It's where it sounds especially controlled and effortless. Now, in comparison with budget Class D amplifiers, you know what? In this price range, it offers a distinctly different presentation compared to typical Class D amplifier designs. Well, for me, it definitely has some advantages over many Class D amplifiers. It has a much more natural tonal balance. I think it has much better mid-range richness. It is easier to listen to for long periods of time. And I think overall, it has a more cohesive presentation. Now, Class D amplifiers often provide much greater power and efficiency, no question about it, but this Class A design really emphasizes musical engagement and tonal realism. Well, obviously, given its place in the market, there are some limitations to this particular amplifier. You know, the minimalist approach does have some trade-offs. Has limited power output. This isn't a monster. It's not going to drive things at 100 decibels or 95 plus decibel sound pressure levels. It has a very sparse feature set, no remote control, only 2 inputs, very simple. It does produce heat, and you need to be aware of that. And you know what? It's not ideal for very large rooms or low sensitivity speakers. These limitations are kind of consistent with its design philosophy and its intended use case. So, final verdict on the Nobsound NS-02G PRO. This thing is remarkable. It seduced me. It dragged me in. You know what? I didn't know what to expect, and I plugged it in, and it delivered. It stood out as a very highly musical, very thoughtfully designed amplifier that without question prioritizes sound quality above all else. You know, it delivers a very refined and engaging sonic character. It is authentically Class A in its sound signature without any question, and I think it offers a tremendous value that competes against amplifiers costing significantly more. Without question, this thing is an absolute steal. Well, this little amplifier, I think, is best suited for listeners who value simplicity, musicality, and pure sound quality. It is an exceptionally good choice. It is not defined by its price, but it redefines expectations within that price category. Without question, highly recommended. It's a ton of fun. Man alive, I really like this piece. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed listening to this little beast and making this video. Anyway, maybe you'd consider subscribing to the channel. I would appreciate that. Maybe give me a thumbs up. Maybe ring the bell to get notified the next time I put out a video. I would like to say thank you to my current channel members and subscribers for your support. I do appreciate it a great deal. There will be an affiliate link in the video description for this particular product if you are interested in acquiring one. I didn't use any music in this, but there is a link to the community post playlists in the video description. If you have a really good playlist you want to share, email it to me and I'll post it up. There are some additional affiliate links in the video description. You guys know the drill on that. Let me know your thoughts. Are you in the market for a really good, cool sounding little amplifier that doesn't run cool, by the way? This may be an excellent choice. Anyway, let me know what you think about it. I think I've covered all the bases on the Nobsound NS-02G PRO little single-ended Class A amplifier. Indeed, I have. Please like, please subscribe, please comment always. You can follow me on Instagram if you want to. My name is Ed Holmwood. This is the Old Guy Hi-Fi channel, and please find some time today to listen to your favorite music and just enjoy it. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I really hope you have a great day.